Welcome, dear friend, to Dream Heaven. Tonight, in the soft, glowing heart of whispering pines, you are finally safe to relax fully. Let all the weight of the day melt away as you settle in for a heartwarming Christmas story. This is a relaxing nighttime tale, a calming narration just for you. Tonight, a quiet, heartwarming night will guide you gently into comfort. Here, in this cozy winter night, something small and magical waits just for you. But there's no need to look for it. Simply breathe and let it find you. So let your eyes grow heavy. Feel the imagined warmth of a soft blanket around you. See in your mind the gentle, steady snow falling outside a frost-kissed window. Inside, the room is bathed in the orange glow of a fireplace. Now, bring your attention to your own body. Feel yourself growing heavier with each exhale. With every breath out, sink deeper into the comfort of your own bed. Let your thoughts begin to slow and drift. Like snowflakes floating softly, lazily to the ground. You are safe here, protected, cradled by this story. There is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do. You may simply sink deeper into the warmth, deeper into the quiet. Let this calming bedtime story for adults carry you away. And so, we begin on a silent, snow-lined path in Whispering Pines. The world of Whispering Pines was hushed, wrapped in a thick blanket of fresh snow. It was the kind of deep, quiet winter night that feels like a held breath. The only light came from the warm, golden lamps that glowed in the windows of small cottages, their light reflecting on the endless white. On this cozy winter night, the air itself smelled of pine and cold, clean stillness. In one such cottage, with smoke curling sleepily from its chimney, lived Mira. And as the first star winked into view in the violet twilight, Mira stood at her window, holding her same familiar cup of cocoa. The steam rose in a gentle curl, carrying the sweet, comforting scent. She pulled her cozy blanket a little tighter around her shoulders, listening to the soft, whispering sound of snow meeting snow outside. Take a slow breath in and let it out even slower. Notice how your own shoulders can soften, just like Mira's, as she watches the peaceful scene. Mira's movements were always slow, observant. She took a small, careful sip from her mug, feeling the warmth travel all the way down. Her evening was a gentle ritual. Tonight, it began with a small box of ornaments, their colors faded and lovely with memory. She settled into her armchair by the fire, the cozy blanket over her lap, and began to polish them, one by one, with a soft cloth. Each bauble held a quiet story, a year, a feeling, a moment of past joy. Mira smiled, a calm, nostalgic smile as she remembered. Her breathing was even and deep, matching the slow rhythm of this calming narration. Feel your body growing a little heavier now, sinking into your own space as Mira sinks into her chair. Let your thoughts soften and drift away with the rising fireplace smoke. She worked without hurry. Little did Mira know, on this heartwarming Christmas night, a quiet delight awaited just outside her window. But for now, there was only the fire, the snow, and the peaceful task in her hands. You can breathe here with her, Mira seemed to whisper, her attention on a silvery bell ornament. You are safe. Just enjoy the quiet magic of the moment. Soon, something gentle would unfold by the fireside. But not yet. For now, Mira finished her polishing, and her eyes grew a little dreamy, watching the flames dance. And as Mira took the last sip of her cocoa, A soft whisper in the pines outside promised a heartwarming moment. Just ahead. The night in whispering pines grew deeper, and the snowfall thickened, painting soft, new layers over the old. Inside, the warm lamplight in Mira's cottage seemed to grow even warmer, a beacon against the silent, blue dark outside. Mira's same cup of cocoa, now refreshed, sat steaming on a small table beside a bundle of rich, red paper and a spool of silky ribbon. This was a night for gentle, slow creation. Mira began to wrap a small, square gift. Her hands moved with a calm, loving precision. Each fold was neat, each piece of tape laid down without a sound. This relaxing nighttime tale is simply about this feeling, the focus on a simple, kind task, the mind pleasantly still. Notice your own breathing now, in and out. Let it match this slow, peaceful rhythm. With each exhale, feel yourself sinking deeper into your soft blanket just as Mira is nestled in her cozy chair. She tied the ribbon into a perfect, loopy bow, her fingers working slowly. The finishing touch was a sprig of dried pine tucked under the knot, filling the air with a faint, foresty scent. It was a small, perfect thing. Mira sat back, admiring it, her expression one of soft contentment. These were the micro moments of a heartwarming Christmas. The sights, the sounds, the sense of giving. Take a slow breath and let the stillness of the room in the story become your own stillness. Your body feels a little heavier, your mind a little softer. Little did Mira know, as she set the gift under her tiny, sparkling tree, that a tiny surprise glimmered in the snow on her windowsill, unnoticed at first. A delicate pattern of frost had formed, like a secret, frozen message just for her. But first, a treat was needed. Mira padded softly to her kitchen, the cozy blanket now draped over her shoulders like a cape. The kitchen was filled with the warm, buttery, sugary aroma of cookies waiting to be finished. It was the smell of comfort itself, of a cozy winter night given a scent. You are safe here, her calm presence seemed to say to you, the listener. This moment of warmth is for you too. Let the good smells and soft sounds be your guided sleep meditation story. She poured the hot, dark cocoa into her mug, the steam rising in a fragrant cloud. Let your thoughts soften and drift, like that steam, upwards, and then gently away. And as Mira lifted the mug to her lips, her eyes drifted to the frost fern window. She paused. There, in the intricate ice, was a shape that looked almost like a little heart. A soft smile touched her lips. It was a quiet, magical hint. And as she savored the sweet, warm chocolate, the quiet jingling of distant bells, carried on the wind, promised that the gentle magic of whispering pines was just beginning to stir. The quiet jingling faded into the tapestry of the night, leaving only the soft crackle of the fire and the endless whisper of snow. Mira remained by the window, her cocoa warming her palms. The frost heart seemed to pulse faintly in the lamplight. It felt like an invitation, not to go out into the cold, but to look closer at the world outside her pane of glass. This deep sleep relaxation story encourages you to do the same, to simply observe without any need to act. Mira pulled her cozy blanket close and knelt on the cushioned seat by the window, her breath creating a small, temporary fog on the cold glass. Breathe in slowly with her and out, watching your own breath soften and disappear in your mind's eye. Outside, The world of Whispering Pines was a study in monochrome beauty. The dark, sturdy shapes of pine trees wore heavy cloaks of white. The path leading to her door was a smooth, unbroken ribbon. And there, just at the edge where her golden light met the blue shadow, were tiny, delicate tracks. They were no bigger than thumbprints, a series of perfect, minute stitches in the snow. A smile touched Myra's lips. Her gentle visitor had come closer. Feel the warmth of your own blanket as you imagine Myra seeing those tracks. Let your body relax into the comfort of being an observer to this quiet, heartwarming scene. She didn't move to open the door. She simply watched, her heart swelling with a soft, protective joy. The magic of this Christmas night wasn't in grand gestures, but in these silent connections, these unseen threads of life sharing the same peaceful space. This calming narration allows you to feel that connection too, from the safety of your warm bed. Little did Myra know, the creator of those tiny tracks was watching her still, its dark, shiny eyes reflecting the firelight from a safe distance. A quiet understanding was passing between them, a wordless holiday greeting. You are part of this quiet night, too, Myra thought, and the thought felt directed to you, the listener, as well. Your peaceful rest is part of the harmony of Whispering Pines tonight. Take another deep, cleansing breath and release it, letting any lingering thoughts drift away with it. The tracks led to a small, neat pile of sunflower seeds she had placed on a stone earlier in the day. A gift quietly received. And as Myra finally rose from the window, her knees slightly stiff, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. The cozy winter night held more life and gentle surprise than she had imagined. And as she turned to add a log to the fire, sending a shower of golden sparks upwards, she knew this guided sleep meditation story was only just beginning to reveal its quiet wonders. With the fire restored to a steady, whispering flame, Myra felt a new, gentle purpose. The tiny tracks in the snow were a silent thank you note, and they inspired her next slow movement. She went to her pantry, a small, cool room that smelled of dried herbs and apples. On a high shelf sat a simple wooden bird feeder, shaped like a little house. It had been empty since the autumn. This heartwarming Christmas night felt like the perfect time to fill it again. This relaxing bedtime story for adults follows her slow, mindful actions, letting them lull your mind into a state of deep peace. She brought the feeder to her kitchen table, the cozy blanket now wrapped around her waist. From a clay jar, she scooped a mixture of black sunflower seeds and millet. The sound was a soft, dry rainfall. Notice the rhythm of your own breathing now, in and out. Let it be as steady and gentle as the pour of seeds from Myra's scoop. She filled the little house to its brim, the seeds forming a soft, textured mound. The simple task was a meditation in itself, a perfect example of how this calming narration guides you into sleep through focused, soft sensory details. Her movements were so slow, so deliberate. Each seed was a promise of tomorrow's breakfast for her shy friends. She fastened the roof back on with careful fingers. The simple act of preparing this small offering filled her with a quiet joy that rivaled any grand celebration. This is the essence of a cozy winter night in Whispering Pines, finding profound contentment in the smallest, kindest of acts. Feel your own heart soften with that feeling of quiet generosity. Let it warm you from within as you listen. Take a slow breath and feel your body becoming heavier, more deeply relaxed, as if you are resting right there in the warm, fragrant kitchen with her. Little did Myra know, as she pressed her palm against the cold window to find the best hook for the feeder, that her gentle visitor was not alone. A small family was nestled in the thick boughs of the nearest pine, waiting for the safety of dawn and the surprise of her gift. But that revelation was for the softer light of morning. For now, there was only the preparation, the anticipation. "This peace you feel right now," Myra whispered softly to the night, "and to you, this is the true gift. You are giving yourself the gift of rest, of stillness." She held the filled feeder for a moment, feeling its modest weight. It was a tiny anchor of kindness in the vast, silent night. And as she set it down by the door, ready for the morning, the distant bells seemed to jingle once more, a little clearer now, as if the guided sleep meditation story of the night was slowly, gently, drawing its magic closer to her sleeping cottage. The aroma in the cottage shifted subtly, from the dry, nutty scent of seeds to something warmer, richer, more comforting. The kitchen called to Myra once more. This time, it was not for a task, but for a creation. On this heartwarming Christmas night, the desire to bake a simple, sweet bread had settled in her heart. It was a recipe from her childhood, one that filled a house with a smell that felt like a hug. This calming bedtime story now invites you into this warm, fragrant space, a perfect sanctuary for deep sleep relaxation. She gathered the ingredients on her worn wooden counter: flour like drifted snow, honey like captured sunlight, yeast, warm milk. Her movements were a slow dance. She measured with a calm focus, her mind nowhere but here, in this moment. The whisk stirred the mixture in a soft, rhythmic swoosh. Breathe in deeply. And imagine you can smell the sweet, yeasty fragrance beginning to bloom in the warm air of Myra's kitchen. As you exhale, feel any last bits of tension in your body dissolving, released into that fragrant warmth. Kneading the dough was her next slow, rhythmic task. She pressed and folded, turned and pressed again. The dough was soft and alive under her hands, a gentle, yielding resistance. It was a physical meditation, and as you listen to this relaxing nighttime tale, you can let the rhythm of her kneading become the rhythm of your own breathing, slow, steady, purposeful. There is no rush. The bread will rise in its own time, just as sleep will come to you in its own perfect time. Feel your body sinking even deeper into your mattress, as heavy and content as the bowl of dough now resting on the hearth, covered with a clean cloth to rise. The fire's gentle heat would help it along. Little did Myra know, the comforting scent of baking bread would soon drift beyond her windows, a silent, aromatic message on the still night air. But for now, there was only the waiting, the patient, peaceful anticipation that is the very soul of a cozy winter night. Waiting is not empty, Myra thought, washing her flour-dusted hands in warm water. It is full of quiet potential. Your rest tonight is full of that same peaceful potential. Take another slow, deep breath. And as you let it out, imagine you are letting go of the very last thought of the day. Let it rise and disappear like the steam from Myra's sink. She wiped her hands on a towel and returned to her chair by the fire. the cozy blanket waiting for her. The cottage was silent save for the fire and the occasional soft pop of a yeast bubble in the resting dough. And as Myra closed her eyes, not to sleep, but to simply be the promise of warmth, both from the oven and from the heart, seemed to fill the very air, guiding you deeper into this guided sleep meditation story. A soft, golden light began to dilute the deep blue of the night outside. It wasn't dawn, but the moon had risen over whispering pines, casting a silvery, luminous glow on the snowy landscape. Inside, Myra's eyes fluttered open. She hadn't been asleep, but in a deep state of peace, listening to the sleeping house. The bread dough had risen, a soft, puffed cloud under its cloth. This moment of quiet awakening is part of our relaxing nighttime tale, a gentle ripple in the calm pond of the night, perfect for soothing you into deeper sleep. She rose slowly, her movements fluid and quiet. The fire had burned down to a bed of glowing coals that pulsed gently, like a slow, warm heartbeat. She placed the bread pan carefully into the remaining heat, at the very edge where it would bake slowly, gently, through the remaining hours of darkness. The action was filled with an ancient domestic magic. Notice how your own breathing has settled into a slow, steady pattern, mirroring the peaceful rhythm of Myra's night. In and out, no effort, just gentle flow. With the bread baking, a new, sweet aroma began to join the pine and snow scents of the cottage. It was the smell of patience rewarded, of simple abundance. Myra went to a carved wooden chest in the corner of the room. This was her memory box. It held no jewels, only paper, letters from loved ones, faded photographs, a dried flower from a long-ago summer. This calming narration invites you to imagine your own treasured memories, not with sharp focus, but as soft, comforting shapes in your mind, felt more than seen. She lifted the lid, which opened with a soft, sighing creak. She didn't rifle through the contents. She simply rested her hand on top of them, feeling the connection to love and times past. This heartwarming Christmas night was about feeling those connections, not analyzing them. Your happiest memories are with you right now, Myra's quiet presence assured you, the listener. They are part of what makes this moment of rest feel so safe. Feel that safety wrapping around you now, as cozy and real as the blanket you imagine. Take a slow breath, and let your mind drift back to your own feeling of warmth and safety, letting the specific details blur into a gentle, comforting glow. Little did Myra know, a letter near the bottom of the box, one she hadn't reread in years, held a phrase that would perfectly match the feeling of this very night. But she wouldn't find it tonight. Some discoveries are meant for other quiet moments. For now, the simple act of touching the past was enough. She closed the lid with the same gentle care. The scent of baking bread was growing richer. And as Myra returned to her chair, the first, faint hint of gilded dawn began to whisper at the very edge of the horizon, a soft tease of the new day that was still happily far away. In the next peaceful chapter of our cozy winter night, the moonlit snow had cast the world in shades of silver and deep blue, but now a new, softer light began to gently stain the sky. It was the palest imaginable lavender, a hint of the dawn that was still hours off, a promise held in the deep breath of the night. Myra saw it from her window. This slow, almost imperceptible change was part of the magic, a a visual lullaby in this guided sleep meditation story. She watched as the silhouettes of the pines, once solid black, began to soften, revealing their layered, snowy branches. The air inside the cottage had changed, too. The scent of baking bread now mingled with the evergreen smell of the pine sprigs she had brought in earlier. It was a fragrance that spoke directly to the heart of winter, to the essence of a cozy winter night. It was clean, sweet, and deeply comforting. Breathe in deeply now and imagine that fragrance filling your own space. As you exhale, imagine any lingering mental chatter being carried away on that sweet, pine-scented air. Mira decided to make a small wreath for her front door. Not a grand one, but a simple circle of fir and pine, tied with a red ribbon she had saved from her gift wrapping. She sat on the floor by the hearth, the cozy blanket beneath her, and began to weave the flexible stems together. Her fingers worked slowly, deliberately, finding a rhythm that was as soothing to watch as it was to perform. This relaxing bedtime story for adults focuses on these rhythms: the weave of stems, the crackle of fire, the rise and fall of your own chest. Feel your body completely supported by your bed, just as Mira is supported by the warm floor and her soft blanket. Let the weight of you sink down into that support. There is no need to hold yourself up anymore. Little did Mira know, the simple wreath she was creating would become a beacon for more than just holiday spirit tomorrow. But that was a thought for the sun. Now, in the moon and dawnlight, it was just a quiet, fulfilling activity, a way to let her hands express the peace in her heart. Your hands are resting now, Mira thought, her voice a soft murmur in the quiet room meant for you. They have done enough for today. Now it is their turn to receive rest, to feel heavy and still. Notice your own hands now. Unclench any subtle tightness. Let them rest palms up or palms down, completely surrendered. Take a slow, deep breath into that feeling of surrender and let it out with a sigh of relief. She tied the final knot in the ribbon, creating a loose, flowing bow. The wreath was imperfect, lopsided in a charming way, full of her own gentle intention. She held it up, admiring its simple green against the firelight. And as she set it aside by the door, next to the bird feeder, the distant, quiet jingling of bells seemed to mix with the first, sleepy chirp of a winter bird, blending into the soundtrack of this heartwarming Christmas night, and guiding you gently towards the next soft moment of rest. A deep, luxurious quiet had settled over whispering pines, the kind of quiet that feels like a substance itself, thick and soft as the snow outside. Mira felt it seep into her bones. The bread was baking, the wreath was made, the gifts were wrapped. Now there was only the enjoyment of the peace she had cultivated. This is the peak of our deep sleep relaxation story, the point where doing transitions completely into being. She settled into the corner of her large, overstuffed sofa, pulling a basket of the softest, undyed yarn beside her. She wasn't following a pattern. She simply held the knitting needles, the creamy wool flowing between her fingers, and began. Knit one, purl one. A simple, repetitive, mindless stitch. The gentle click-click of the bamboo needles was a quiet metronome for the night. Let that rhythmic sound in your imagination set the pace for your breathing, click in, click out. A slow, steady, calming cycle. This calming narration needs no plot, only this soothing, repetitive motion to guide you deeper. The The yarn was cloud soft. As she worked, she thought of nothing but the feeling of it slipping through her fingers, the growing, formless fabric in her lap. It was a meditation. Your mind can enter the same meditative space. With every stitch Mira makes, imagine a worry or a thought being gently tied off and released. Feel your forehead smooth out. Feel your jaw unclench. Feel the space between your thoughts grow wider, softer, like the spaces between snowflakes in the still air. Take a slow breath, and as you exhale, feel yourself becoming as soft and pliable as the wool in Mira's hands. Your body is heavy, warm, and perfectly content. Little did Mira know, this soft, shapeless project would, in the coming days, become a small blanket for a new arrival in the village. But the future was a distant, fuzzy thought. The present was all that mattered, the click-click, the fire's glow, the warmth of the wool. This moment is a gift you are giving yourself. Mira's peaceful activity seemed to whisper to you. The gift of timelessness. Her eyelids grew heavy, not with sleep, but with deep contentment. The knitting slowed, then stopped. The needles rested in her lap, the soft mound of fabric a comforting weight. She didn't fight the drowsy feeling. She welcomed it as part of the heartwarming Christmas night. This cozy winter night was a blanket itself, and she was nestled in its very center. And as her head leaned back against the sofa cushion, the gentle sounds of the night, the settling embers, the sigh of the house, seemed to weave together into a lullaby, promising that the quietest, most restful chapter of all was just ahead. Mira's breathing had deepened, aligning with the slow, sleeping rhythm of the house. The knitting rested in her lap, her hands still upon it. In the deep tranquility of this guided sleep meditation story, time became elastic, stretching into a peaceful, endless now. Outside, the lavender hint of dawn had faded back into deepest night, as if the world had decided to prolong the magic. A fresh, gentle snow began to fall, not in flakes, but in tiny, crystalline specks that caught the moonlight like scattered diamonds. In her state of deep calm, Mira imagined herself walking the starlit path through the pines. Not a physical walk, but a journey of the mind, the kind we take as we drift towards sleep. She imagined the cold, clean air on her face, the absolute silence broken only by the soft crunch-crunch of her boots in the pristine snow. You can take this walk with her from the profound comfort of your bed. Imagine the towering, friendly pines, their boughs heavy and white, guarding the path. Breathe in the imagined scent of frozen evergreens and exhale any remaining restlessness. With each step in your mind, feel yourself sinking deeper into your pillows. The path led nowhere in particular. That was the beauty of it. This relaxing nighttime tale is not about a destination. It's about the serene journey towards rest. The stars above whispering pines were sharp and brilliant, like pinpricks in a dark velvet cloth. Feel the vast, peaceful quiet of that imaginary night sky above you. Let it make your personal worries feel small and distant, softened by the immense, gentle night. Little did Mira know, on her imagined stroll, she was passing the very spot where her gentle visitor lived, safe and warm in a hidden burrow. A connection, unseen but felt, hummed in the peaceful air. But in this dream walk, all creatures were safe, all hearts were calm. You are walking away from the day, Mira's dreaming mind communicated to yours. With every soft, slow step, you are leaving behind noise and to-do lists and concerns. You are walking into peace. take a slow, deliberate breath in. And as you let it out, imagine taking another step down that soft, snowy, starlit path, going deeper into tranquility. The path in her mind eventually curved, leading back towards the golden glow of her own cottage windows. The walk was complete, a perfect, peaceful loop. And as Myra's imagining self stepped back onto her own porch, shaking imaginary snow from her shoulders, the real snow against the window seemed to hush even further, as if honoring the end of the journey and the beginning of the deepest rest. In the next chapter of this heartwarming Christmas night, the gentle tick-tick of snow against the window pane softened, then ceased altogether. A profound, blanket-like silence descended upon whispering pines. It was the silence of the world deeply at rest. Inside, the bread was done, filling the cottage with a deep, golden, nutty fragrance that was the very smell of warmth itself. Myra stirred from her reverie, her eyes opening to the familiar, dear sight of her quiet home. This calming bedtime story now settles into this deepest layer of quiet, perfect for ushering you into sleep. She rose, her movements slow as syrup, and went to the hearth. With a thick cloth, she drew the bread pan from the ashes. The loaf was perfect, a deep brown crust, and when she tapped it, it sounded hollow, a soft, comforting thump. She set it on the stove to cool, its heat radiating gently. This simple, nourishing result of her patience was a quiet victory. It required no celebration, only acknowledgement. Notice the quiet feeling of accomplishment in your own body, the accomplishment of simply being here, listening, letting go. That is your own perfect loaf of bread tonight. Returning to her chair, she didn't sit immediately. She stood for a long moment, simply looking around her cozy kingdom. The warm lamps, the cozy blanket folded on the chair, the wreath by the door, the tiny tracks remembered in her mind's eye. Her heart felt full to the brim with a quiet, overflowing gratitude. This feeling is the destination of our deep sleep relaxation story. It is a feeling you can share right now. Breathe in gratitude for your warm bed. Breathe out any final fragments of unease. Little did Myra know, the scent of the fresh bread had seeped through the old wood of her door and was now a ghost of a fragrance on her porch, a silent greeting to the waking world. But the world was not awake yet. It was in this sacred, silent hour between night and day where magic feels most possible. This silent hour belongs to you, Myra thought, her gaze soft. It is a gift of peace before the new day begins. You can claim it simply by resting. Feel yourself claiming that peace now. Let it sink into every cell. Take the slowest, deepest breath you've taken all night, hold it for a moment at the top, bathing in the feeling of stillness, and then release it completely, letting your body go utterly limp. The silence in the story is now your silence. The warmth is your warmth. The gratitude is your gratitude. And as Myra finally sank back into her chair, pulling the cozy blanket over her legs once more, the only sound was the nearly imperceptible ping of the cooling bread crust, a tiny, final note in the melody of the night, leading you gently into the next, even quieter chapter. A single log in the fireplace, nearly consumed, gave up its final form in a soft, sighing collapse, sending a last, graceful swirl of amber sparks up the chimney. The light in the room dimmed by a degree, becoming even softer, more dreamlike. This is the light best suited for the final chapters of a relaxing nighttime tale, a light that encourages the eyes to close and the mind to dream. Myra watched the sparks rise and vanish, a metaphor for thoughts disappearing as sleep approaches. She reached for the same familiar cup, but this time she filled it not with cocoa, but with warm, plain water infused with a slice of orange and a single clove. The simplicity of it felt right. The sharp, clean, faintly sweet scent was a new note in the aromatic symphony of the cottage. It was a scent of clarity and calm. As you imagine that scent, let it clear a space in your mind. Imagine it washing through your thoughts, leaving them clean, quiet, and empty, ready for rest. She sipped slowly, feeling the warmth spread differently than the rich cocoa had lighter, but just as penetrating. Her gaze fell upon the frosted window, but the frost was beginning to retreat at the very edges, a sign of the stable warmth inside. The little frost heart was still there, but now it looked like it was gently melting into the glass, its message delivered. Feel any last, clinging thoughts in your mind doing the same, gently melting, losing their edges, becoming part of a soft, liquid piece. Breathe in and imagine that breath is warm, clear water. Breathe out. And imagine it carrying away the final, microscopic traces of the day. Your system is being cleansed by peace, prepared for deep, restorative sleep. Little did Myra know, as the frost retreated, it revealed a clearer view of the bird feeder, which now stood like a silent sentinel in the blue moonlight. It stood ready, a promise of morning's activity, but that was a world away. In this guided sleep meditation story, we stay firmly in the soft, still now. Your mind is that clear window now, Myra mused, her voice the quietest it had been all night, almost a thought rather than a sound. Nothing is sticking to it. Everything is just passing by, soft and blurry and unimportant. Allow your own mind to become that clear, frost-free pane. Let thoughts be seen and then let go without sticking. Take a slow breath to cement that feeling, in clarity, out, release. She finished her warm drink and set the cup aside. The cottage was at its quietest. The processes were complete. The baking, the making, the wrapping. Only being remained. And as Myra let her head rest fully back, her eyes closing not to the room but to inner peace, the quality of the silence itself seemed to change, becoming a tangible, gentle pressure, like a soft hand guiding your eyelids closed, welcoming you into the shared quiet of the next chapter. In the deep quiet, a subtle understanding passed through Myra, as gentle and certain as moonlight. It was the understanding that she was not alone in her vigil, that all through whispering pines, in every sleeping house, hearts were beating in the same slow rhythm of rest, that the gentle visitor in the woods was curled in its nest, that the stars above held their timeless watch. This feeling of silent, universal companionship is the final gift of this heartwarming Christmas story, a gift meant for you, the listener, as well. You are part of this quiet network now, connected not by wires or words, but by the shared state of peace. Your breath is one of many breaths in the night, all slowing, all deepening. Feel that connection now. It makes your rest feel bigger than yourself, part of a natural, holy order. This calming narration is simply the thread that helped you find your place in that tapestry. There is no need to hold onto the thread anymore. You are woven in. Myra's breathing became so slow, so shallow, that it was almost indistinguishable from the slight rise and fall of the blanket over her. She was in the doorway of sleep, that blissful threshold. You can stand on that same threshold with her. Imagine a doorway before you, not of wood, but of soft, dark velvet. It is warm and inviting. There is nothing you need to do to open it. You simply need to let yourself be drawn towards it, as gently as a leaf settling on still water. Breathe. And with each exhale, imagine yourself floating closer to that soft, dark doorway of sleep. There is no effort, only surrender. Little did Myra know in her near-sleep state that a smile rested on her face. A smile of pure, unconscious contentment. It was the smile you might feel touching your own lips as sleep finally, gently claims you. Let go of the story now. The quiet of whispering pines seems to murmur. The story is done. All that's left is sleep. Take one final, conscious breath. Make it a sigh of complete release. Let it be your signal to the waking mind that its job is complete. From this point on, everything is automatic, effortless, guided by the deep wisdom of your own body. The cozy winter night has done its work. The deep sleep relaxation is not a promise anymore. It is here, present, waiting to envelop you completely. And as Myra's last waking thought, a wordless feeling of gratitude dissolved into the dark warmth, the final, defining sound of the night was not a sound at all, but the perfect, ringing silence that comes after a beautiful piece of music has ended. A silence that holds the echo of peace, cradling you as you cross over into your own quiet, dreamless whispering pines. The silence was complete, a perfect, velvety void of sound. In that profound quiet, Myra rested, not thinking, not dreaming, simply being in a way that only the deepest rest allows. This part of our calming bedtime story for adults is about that wordless space, the peaceful emptiness where sleep truly lives. There is no narrative here, only sensation. The sensation of weightlessness. The sensation of warmth that comes from within. The sensation of time ceasing to matter. Imagine your own mind reaching that same quiet place. Not a place you have to build or find, but a place that has been waiting for you all along, underneath every thought. It is the soft, dark soil at the root of a tree. It is the still center of a snow-covered field. Breathe into that stillness, and as you exhale, feel yourself settling into it, like a feather landing on deep, soft moss. The fire was now just a mosaic of glowing orange embers, painting faint, dancing shadows on the ceiling. Shadows that moved too slowly to follow, perfect for lulling tired eyes. Myra's cozy blanket felt like a part of her, its weight a gentle, reassuring pressure. This deep sleep relaxation is about welcoming that heaviness, that pleasant inability to move as a gift. Your own body can feel that now, heavy, warm, perfectly still. Let the weight of your limbs be a comfort, proof that you are safe, anchored in rest. Little did Myra know, in this state of utter surrender, the gentle magic of the night was doing its most important work. The unseen mending of spirit, the quiet recharge of joy. It was a magic that worked on you too as you listen. No effort is required, simply receive. There is nothing to receive but peace, the silence whispered. And peace is already here. Feel it filling the spaces between your breaths, longer and longer now. Take a breath so slow it feels like the tide coming in. a gentle, inevitable swell, and then receding just as slowly, leaving smooth sand behind. With every such breath, the boundary between Myra in the story and you in your bed softens, blurs, and finally dissolves. You are both resting in the same quiet night, under the same silent, watchful pines. This guided sleep meditation story has become the shared breath of the night itself. And as that last, lingering connection to the waking world finally released its gentle hold, a single, peaceful truth remained, hovering in the warm darkness. The heartwarming Christmas night was not outside the window anymore. It was inside, a softly glowing ember in the heart, promising that sleep was not an end, but a warm, dark, welcoming beginning from the deep, warm darkness. A gentle awareness slowly surfaced, not the sharp awareness of waking, but the soft, drifting awareness of a dream. Myra, in her rest, became aware of light. Not the firelight, but a cool, silvery, diffused light that seemed to emanate from the very air in the room. It was the light of a Christmas moon reflecting off an ocean of snow, filtering through the windows and filling the cottage with a dreamlike glow. This calming narration now guides you into this dream space, where everything is soft focus and deeply peaceful. In this half-dream, the room looked both familiar and enchanted. The knitting on the sofa seemed to shimmer. The pinecone decorations glinted like frosted gems. Everything was draped in a haze of beautiful, silent mystery. This is the feeling we cultivate in this relaxing nighttime tale, a sense of familiar comfort touched by gentle wonder, the perfect state for drifting into deeper sleep. Allow your own mind to paint your room with this soft, silver dream light. See the familiar shapes of your furniture softened and made magical by it. Myra, in her dream, rose from her chair and walked to the window. The frost was completely gone now, and the glass was perfectly clear. Outside, the world of whispering pines was a study in monochrome beauty, brighter than day but utterly silent. The snow glittered like a galaxy spread upon the earth. Breathe in that imagined sight, the breathtaking, peaceful beauty of a frozen, sleeping world. Breathe out and feel your own inner landscape become just as still, just as bright with peace. Feel the cool, smooth glass under her dream hand. It was not cold, but simply present. There was no barrier between her and the night. In this dream state, in this cozy winter night story, you too can feel that there is no barrier between you and the rest you seek. It is right here. You are already touching it. The window is open, Dream Myra whispered, though her lips didn't move. You can step through into deeper rest whenever you are ready. Little did she know, her dream walk was a preparation, a gentle guided tour from the shallows of sleep into its deepest, quietest waters. And you are walking right beside her. Take a slow, dream-like step forward in your mind and feel yourself sinking an inch deeper into your mattress, into a layer of sleep that feels softer and more welcoming than the last. She didn't open the window. She simply appreciated the view. And as she turned in her dream to look back at her peaceful, moonlit cottage, the scene began to gently blur at the edges, the details melting into the soft, silver light, signaling that the dream was ending. Not to wakefulness, but to something deeper and darker in the next chapter of this heartwarming, silent night, the silver light faded, absorbed back into the deep, comforting dark. The dream was over, leaving behind only its essence, a profound and total calm. Myra was now in the true depths of sleep, a place beyond stories, beyond images, beyond any thought at all. This chapter of our guided sleep meditation story speaks to that place. It uses words not to create images, but to gently acknowledge the beautiful emptiness of deep rest. It is a lullaby for the soul that has already mostly crossed over. In this dark, warm sea of sleep, there is only sensation. The sensation of breath moving in and out, automatic and slow. The sensation of a heartbeat, a soft, steady drum in the darkness. The sensation of perfect safety. You can tune into these sensations in your own body now. Let your awareness fall away from the story and into the physical feeling of your own breathing, the slight coolness of air entering your nostrils, the gentle rise of your chest or belly, the soft warmth of the air leaving. There is no Mira here. There is no cottage. There are only these anchors of life, breath, heartbeat, warmth. They are the quietest, most reliable rhythms in the universe. Focus on your heartbeat now. Can you feel its steady pulse? It doesn't need your help. It just goes beat after beat, a metronome set to the tempo of rest. Sync your listening with it. Beat, stillness, beat, stillness. Let this be the only story you follow now. Breathe, and with the exhale, release the very last thread of consciousness that is holding onto this narrative. Let the words become sounds, then murmurs, then nothing. You are entering the part of the night where this calming bedtime story for adults becomes superfluous. Its job is nearly done. It has brought you to the shore, and now the quiet ocean of sleep itself is rocking you. Feel that rocking, a gentle, swaying sensation as if you are floating. The story is a boat, the last wisp of thought might say. And you have reached land. You can leave the boat now. It will be here in the morning. Feel yourself stepping out of the boat of the narrative and onto the solid, silent, welcoming ground of your own deep sleep. The ground is soft. It holds you completely. And as that final step is taken, a deep, comforting warmth spreads from your core outward, like ink diffusing in water, until every part of you is soaked in the same, uniform, perfect warmth and dark. In the final, quiet chapters of rest, time did not exist. There was only a continuous, dark present. This is the realm of deep sleep relaxation, where the mind and body perform their most sacred work of restoration. In this chapter, there are no events. There is only the gentle, metaphorical observation of this process. Imagine, if you can, a deep underground spring. The water is perfectly clear and still. It is being slowly replenished from hidden sources deep in the earth. This is your spirit. This is your energy, quietly refilling in the dark. There is no sound down here by the spring. Only the occasional, barely perceptible plink of a single water droplet falling from the cavern's ceiling, joining the pool. That plink is like a slow breath. In. Plink, a tiny, perfect addition to your wholeness. Then a long, long period of stillness. Your breathing may be like that now. A slow, soft inhale, and then a long, still pause before the exhale even begins. There is no need to rush. The stillness between breaths is as nourishing as the breath itself. Feel that deep, inner reservoir filling. With every effortless breath, imagine a drop of crystal clear, cool, peaceful energy joining your pool. You are not doing anything. It is being done for you. This is the gift of the heartwarming Christmas night, the gift of receiving without trying. Your body knows exactly what to do. Your mind can finally stand aside and rest. I am being restored is the silent knowledge in the dark. The warmth surrounding you is not just from blankets. It is the warmth of life itself, circulating gently, repairing, soothing. It glows softly in the dark of your closed eyes, a deep, comforting red gold light, like the last embers of a fire that will never go out. Focus on that inner glow behind your eyelids. Don't try to see it, just know it is there, the pilot light of your own peaceful being. Let go of even this metaphor of the spring. Let go of the image of light. There is only the knowing that you are safe, you are held, you are renewing. The story has become a distant memory, a faint scent on a breeze that has already passed by. You are in the reality the story was only pointing toward. And in this reality, there is a silent, powerful, wordless understanding that everything is exactly as it should be, perfect in the deep, quiet design of the night, from the formless dark. A new, gentle pressure began to make itself known. It was not a sound or a light, but a feeling, the feeling of the world very slowly beginning to turn towards dawn. It was a subtle shift in the quality of the darkness, a barely there lightening from absolute black to the deepest, richest blue. This change was so slow it was almost imperceptible, the perfect pace for the final moments of a relaxing nighttime tale. It was the promise that rest had been sufficient, that night had done its job, but the morning was still a long, gentle stretch away. In the cottage, this translated to the faintest gray outline of the window against the wall. The embers in the fireplace had darkened to a uniform, ashy gray, their heat now a soft, ambient radiance in the room. Mira slept on, unaware of this slow transition. Her sleep was now sweet and solid, the kind of sleep where the body is completely limp and the face is smooth and untroubled. Your own sleep can feel like this now. A sleep so deep that you are barely aware of having a body at all. You are simply a point of peaceful awareness, resting in the center of the warm, blue-dark silence. Breathe in this deep blue silence, and as you breathe out, feel yourself blending with it, becoming part of it. There is no difference between you and the peaceful night. The cozy blanket, the bed, the room, they are all extensions of your own restful being. This is the unity that this calming narration has been guiding you toward. The end of separation, the experience of oneness with peace. Little did the sleeping Mira know, outside the window, the first, boldest bird of whispering pines had stirred on its perch, but it did not sing. It simply ruffled its feathers once, tucked its head back, and decided the night was not quite over. That decision echoed in the peaceful fabric of the hour. The world agreed there was more rest to be had. The night is still yours, the deep blue silence murmured. Dawn is a guest who knows not to arrive too early. Feel the luxury of this stolen time, this extended hour of deepest rest. It is a gift. Accept it fully. Let your breathing become so shallow, so quiet, that it is almost not there at all. You are hovering on the very threshold of dreamless sleep, in the most peaceful place a person can be. And as you hover there, held perfectly suspended in the calm, the last conscious thought, the memory of a story about a quiet pine forest, dissolved like a sugar cube in warm tea, leaving only the sweet, unadulterated essence of sleep itself. There was a softness to the air that hadn't been there before. It was the softness of a world holding its breath in anticipation, not of something loud, but of something gentle, the first delicate transition from night to day. In the cottage, this softness felt like a thicker, plusher quality to the quiet. It was the quiet of a story fully told, of a song that has ended, leaving a resonant silence in its wake. This chapter of our sleep story is that resonant silence. It is the space where you, the listener, exist completely on your own, cradled by the atmosphere we've built together. Mira's part in this guided sleep meditation story is complete. She is asleep, truly, deeply, wonderfully asleep. Now the story is entirely about you and your rest. The cozy winter night is your cozy night. The warm blanket is the warmth of your own bed. The silent pines are the quiet of your own mind. You have inherited the entire peaceful setting. It belongs to you now. Breathe and know that you are breathing in the air of your own whispering pines. Feel the perfect alignment of your body. Your spine is straight but not rigid, supported fully by the mattress. Your limbs are arranged in a way that requires no muscle to hold them in place. Your head is heavy on the pillow. Scan your body slowly in your mind, from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes, and with each part you acknowledge, send it a message. You can rest now. Your work is done. Feel the acknowledgement spread like a wave of relaxation. There is no hook here, no gentle surprise to anticipate. The only thing ahead is more of this profound, undisturbed peace. The ultimate soft hook is the promise that sleep, true sleep, is already here and it will continue. You have arrived, the silence says. This is the destination. There is nowhere else to go. Let that truth settle into you. The seeking is over. The finding is complete. Take one last, conscious, beautifully slow breath. Make it a breath of gratitude, not for anything specific, but for the simple, incredible fact of rest, for the safety of the night, for the comfort of your bed. As you exhale this breath, imagine it as a key, turning gently in a lock. The door to the waking world is now softly, firmly closed. You are on the other side, in the land of deep, restoring, perfect sleep. And the door will not open again until your body and spirit are fully, completely ready. And with that final, locking breath, the last connection to words, to narrative, to guided imagery softly severs. You are floating free in the peaceful darkness, unconditionally held, utterly safe, and profoundly, deeply asleep. Sleep is deep. Sleep is warm. Sleep is safe. Your body is heavy. Your mind is quiet. Your heart is calm. Breath in slow. Breath out slower. You are resting in whispering pines. The snow is soft outside. The world is quiet. Sleep is deep. Sleep is warm. Sleep is safe. Every muscle is soft. Every thought is gone. Only peace remains. Breath in peace. Breath out deeper. The night holds you. The silence cradles you. Sleep has you now. Sleep is deep. Sleep is warm. Sleep is safe. No dreams to follow. No stories to hear. Only the dark, warm nothing. Breath in darkness. Breath out warmth. You are asleep. You are deeply asleep. You are perfectly, deeply, peacefully asleep. And here, at the very end of our heartwarming Christmas story, there are no more words. Only the feeling we have woven together. A feeling of safety, of warmth, of quiet, heart-deep peace. Mira is asleep. The fire is ashes. The snow has stopped. Whispering Pines is silent. You have listened to the very end of this calming bedtime story for adults. You have followed the relaxing nighttime tale all the way to its quiet conclusion. You have received the full gift of this guided sleep meditation story. Now let it all go. Release the images, release the sounds, release the story itself. All that remains is you and your own deep, natural, beautiful sleep. You are so deeply relaxed. You are so perfectly safe. You are so warmly held. This cozy winter night is inside you now. It is your breath, slow and steady. It is your heartbeat, calm and strong. It is the darkness behind your eyes, soft and welcoming. There is nothing more to do. There is nowhere else to be. There is nothing left to become. You are already there. You are already home. You are already asleep. So we whisper our final, silent good night, not a farewell, but an acknowledgement. You have crossed over into rest. The story is done. Its work is complete. Your sleep is your own now. Deep, deep, deep sleep. Warm, safe, quiet sleep. Perfect, restoring, peaceful sleep. Sleep well, dear listener. The pines have finished their whispering. The night has gathered you in. Sleep. Good night.